Hello there and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Deepa Robbins from DeeZinesByD and I thank you for joining me today. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to be notified of future videos. And please don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you like this video. So today I'm going to be showing you how to use accompanying dies. So these are the dies that come with a set and aren't really the main component of the set, but you can use them in different ways to make unique and different cards that don't necessarily look like they're of the set. So I'm going to show you how to do that with the Spellbinders Lemon Zest set today, and these cards have no lemons in it. So here are the products I'm using. Here is the Lemon Zest set, and you can see it comes with a nice big leafy branch lemons and some other small elements. I'm going to be using the Spellbinders Geoscreen and the Loops embossing folders. Now these are new and they're very large, and this is why I really like them, because they're perfect for making larger cards like I do. So let's go ahead and look at this die set. You can see you've got the two lemons along with the leaves, which is a nice big leafy set, along with all of these little flower elements. So I'm actually just going to be using this leaf piece here for the first card, and I've cut it out of Sizzix Opulent Silver Glitter cardstock 3 times. Now it also comes with 5 other smaller little pieces, which are color block dies that you're going to use to put on top of that huge leaf set, and I've cut those all out of some white glitter cardstock, some charcoal mirror cardstock, and also some silver mirror cardstock. These are all Sizzix Opulent cardstocks, and they just all work really nice together. Now the next thing I want to do is use Yana's Layered Script Sentiments. This is a really nice set. It not only comes with the script sentiment, but it comes with the shadow, which I really like. Now I tend to use this Artist Tack permanent dry adhesive. This is really cool for these very intricate, dainty little script sentiments like this, because it's really hard to kind of get the glue on the back. So what this does is changes your die cut and turns it into a sticker. So you could also use the Xyron machine if you have that, but I find that this is just a little bit cheaper. It's a little more cost effective for me. So all I really do is add that adhesive to the back and then stick it onto what I want and then burnish it down a little bit. Now for the background, I'm going to be using the Spellbinders Geoscreen embossing folder. Now this is one of the newer folders. It's actually nice and large. It's 5.5 by 8.5 inches. So if you have the Spellbinders Platinum die cutting machine, it'll fit through that perfectly. If you have a Big Shot Plus like I do, it'll go through that easily. Anything smaller, it's not going to work, but it should work with most regular die cutting machines. And you can see this embosses so nicely. And I mean, for me, I always make larger cards. If you notice, I make A7 size cards, so that's 5 inch by 7 inch. And this folder works perfectly because normally I have to emboss twice and kind of cover up a seam. So I love this aspect of the Spellbinders folders. And it's also perfect for slimline folders because it has that length to it. It's going to cover your entire slimline, which is honestly what I've been looking for because I always have issues with that. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've kind of cut up a couple of, one of those leafy vines, and I've added 2 of those on there, kind of like connecting. So I've just created like a leafy background. And then, as I mentioned, I cut out all of those little color block leaves that go on top. So it creates this color block effect whereby you have 2 colors butt up right against each other with no fade in between, which is like a really nice geometric type effect. Which is also why I chose to use the geo screen for the background, because it all kind of goes together. And you can see these leaves, it's not too hard to figure out what goes where, and I just used some foam squares to attach that to give it a bit of dimension. Now as for the sentiment, I have these little foam strips that I made, which is just made with some double-sided adhesive and some craft foam. And then I add some glue to the back to attach my sentiment to my card, which also gives it that little bit of lift that kind of goes with those little color block leaves. So now that I've got that on there, I'm just going to jazz it up a little with some Pink Fresh Studio Stargazer jewels. Now these are nice jewels because they're actually a black jewel with like a blue AB colored sheen on top of it. So it works perfectly with navy blue, dark blue cardstocks like this. Then I added some clear nail art gems, and I've mentioned this before. I just get these off of Amazon and they work perfectly for decorating cards like this. So this is the final result you get for the first card, which is absolutely gorgeous. And you wouldn't even really realize that this comes from a die set called Lemon Zest. I mean, where's the lemons, right? But it looks absolutely stunning in the end. So now I have these three other dies which come from the exact same Lemon Zest set, and I'm just using these tiny little flowers. These are like little daisy type flowers, I would say, and I cut them out of some ivory cardstock and some white glitter cardstock. Again, I'm using all of the Sizzix Opulent stuff. For the vines, I actually used some light pink glitter cardstock that I had laying around. It was just a scrap piece, so sorry, I forget where it's actually from. And then there are also two other little flowers. These are the ones that I am attaching right here. They're just like side flowers. These ones attach to the vines, and the little round daisies kind of just sit on their own. So as you can see, you just need one little drop of glue, and you attach the little vine on top of there to create these little flowers. Now, I went ahead and did this about 10 to 12 times. I created, I think, 12 of these to put all over my card, and these are going to be the focal point of my next card. So I have this Sizzix foam mat, and I'm going to be using the Spellbinders Tool-in-One with the stylus tip. I would suggest using the smallest tip. I have the big one on here, and I just didn't feel like switching it out. So I'm just using it to kind of curve my flowers a bit and give it a bit of dimension. And it really doesn't take too long to do that. You could also use maybe some craft foam or maybe an eraser to sort of add some dimension to that. And again, I've gone ahead and used the other part of Yana's script sentiment set. So there's actually two main sentiments in that set. There's a thanks and there's a happy birthday. So I showed you the thanks on the first card, and here's the happy birthday. And you can see that they look absolutely stunning once put together on the shadow. Now for this card, I'm going to be using the Loops embossing folder. So just like the first time, I'm going to line it up. I'm going to add just a spritz of water. So that's just plain old water. This just helps make your cardstock just a little more malleable, so when you put it through your die cutting machine, it doesn't crack when it gets embossed. So once that's complete, you can see you get this really nice looped embossed background. You can see little droplets, but don't worry about that. That dries because it's just plain water. And you could use either side of that panel, which would look great. You have the embossed and the debossed side. It's completely up to you. I decided to use the embossed side. And I'm going to just add my sentiments just like I did on the first card. But this time I'm going to add my sentiment first and then build my design around the sentiment. So I'm adding the happy, and I always tend to use an acrylic block just to kind of hold that in place, especially when I'm using liquid glue. It just needs a little bit of time to become tacky, especially this Barely Arts glue. At first it's very runny, but once you get it on there and it sits for like maybe 30 seconds or so, it gets tacky and it sticks perfectly. So now that's all that's left for me to do is to attach all of these beautiful little side flowers, as I like to call them, because there are the daisies, which are the front facing flowers in the set. So all I did was I took these small little foam squares that I have and I attached them to the actual flower portion of this vine. The actual vine, I used a bit of liquid glue, the Barely Arts glue, to attach them, and I just kind of put them all over this card. Some coming out from the edges of the card, some coming out from the sentiment, and some of the stems I kind of cut down a little bit to give it a bit of variation in length. And then once I was done, I cut off all of the edges, all of the overhanging stems. And then I went back to those small little daisies and I decided to just kind of add them all around this card. Now, I think the key thing to adding these tiny little things, or the tiny little dies or accompanying dies like this, is that you have to kind of create a contrast. So as you can see, I used a dark background here and the flowers are a light color. So they stand out and they really take up the main focus of this card. That way they're not kind of hidden in the background. So I did finish this off with some more clear nail art gems, and as you can see, this is beautiful. And again, you would have no idea that I used the Lemon Zest set to do this. So I really hope that you guys can take some time, go and look at your die sets and pick out some of the little dies that you like. You don't have to use the main focal point die in your card making. And when you do this, you not only get different looks, get unique cards, but you also stretch the use of your stash. This way you don't have to be going out and buying new stuff all the time. Just go back and look at what you have and use some of the stuff that's not the main focus. So I hope you guys have been inspired and that you did get something out of this video. And I hope to see you guys again next time. I'll leave you with another video and a playlist. Have a great day, guys. Bye.